Well, welcome back. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. I hope you're enjoying your first steps of launching your amazing Solex business. You're ready, you're making your lists, you're developing the skills, the knowledge of how to interact with your warm market, your cold market. I hope your sponsors put you through the Getting Started training. I hope you've seen the Keep It Simple training and now this amazing training. I know many of you guys have questions. How do I read these scans? I want to know a little bit more information before I start scheduling my scans, my appointments with my people who want to get scanned. And I just want to make sure I'm doing this properly. With that being said, there was this amazing trainer on the Day of Discovery, virtual discovery event here in March. And I think this is such a powerful, and I'm sure corporate's going to send this out to everybody on one of their weekly update calls, which I appreciate. But right now we have a brand new team here and we have lots of energy, frequencies just running crazy. Lots of amazing things are happening in everybody's lives. And by utilizing this amazing tool, I can, obviously do one-on-ones with all of you guys. I know we have Patricia, we have Jillian, we have Callie, we have Penny, we have Shar. We have so many amazing individuals coming into our team here. And there's so many more names out there, individuals that I haven't even mentioned the names. I will tell you that this training is excellent. And I've done so many scans now on individuals that I'm just continually learning. I'm being plugged in, going on the weekly update calls from corporate, plugging into the testimonial call of Dr. Sheila's team. And of course, she has other trainings that she's doing as well throughout the month, every week. There's so much information. There's amazing Solex YouTube channel that has amazing playlists of different topics and stuff. I'll show you at the end of this training, as well as the Solex University. There is ample information out there. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, but you want to know so you feel comfortable doing your scans on your newest potential customer or QLA. So, or client. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to stop my video, stay quiet, let you learn this amazing training on how to read your scans. Grab your notebook, grab your pen, pause this video before you start learning this amazing training, because this will just catapult your amazing journey here in Solex as a QLA, Quantum Living Advocate. Like, how cool is that? With that, I'm going to stop my video and share my screen and get your pens and papers ready. And I will stay here quietly and enjoy the training on how to read your scan.
How many times have you felt like your body is trying to tell you something, but you just can't figure out what it is? You reach for your AO scanner or you call a friend to run a scan, and you anxiously wait for the report, only to open it and feel completely overwhelmed. The numbers, the colors, the tone, they all look like another language. And if you're new to this, you might also be like, what does all this mean? Even if you've been using it for a while, sometimes the information is still very unclear. If you feel like this, you're not alone. Many people face the same challenges every day. And the good news is that the real value of the AO scan lies in not the isolated results that you're seeing, but in the patterns that it reveals. So today I'm going to help you uncover the story behind what your body is telling you through these reports. But before we dive into these reports, it's really important for you to understand how the AO scan really works and why bioresonance is at the heart of this amazing technology that we have in our hands. Bioresonance is based on the idea that every part of your body emits its own frequency, its own unique frequency. Your cells, tissues, bacteria, viruses, and even toxins, they vibrate at specific frequencies. So when these natural vibrations are disrupted, whether it's by stress, by trauma, by toxins, environmental factors, Wi-Fi, anything, it can throw your body out of balance, leading to dysfunction or even illness. Think of your body as an orchestra. Every cell and every organ is like an instrument. When one instrument is out of tune, the entire symphony can be affected. Bioresonance identifies which notes are off and sends corrective frequencies to return the system back to balance. Healthy cells vibrate at their optimal frequencies, which helps your body produce energy, absorb nutrients, and eliminate toxins, amongst many other things. But when the cell falls out of balance, bioresonance can help restore, harmonize, and promote healing and vitality. Here's how the AO scan uses the technology. It begins by scanning your body to identify specific energetic imbalances at a cellular level. These imbalances often show up as physical symptoms, maybe like fatigue, digestive issues, or even emotional stress. Once the scanner detects these disruptions, the device then sends therapeutic frequencies back to your body to realign its natural vibrational patterns. This process is highly effective because it works at the speed of electromagnetic signals, which are far faster than chemical processes, medications, or even supplements. And it's also a non-invasive, powerful way to address root causes of imbalance rather than just managing symptoms. But to truly grasp bioresonance, it's also helpful to understand how your body is organized. Groups of cells from tissues then create organs. Organs work together within the system, like the digestive system or even nervous system. And each cell is made up of molecules, which is composed of atoms. Atoms, in turn, contain subatomic particles that are truly pure energy, that are vibrating in specific frequencies. So bioresonance goes all the way down to these foundational energetic layers, addressing imbalances at their source. But your body is more than just a physical structure. It's a living, breathing memory machine that holds your joys, your traumas, your resilience, and your pain. Trauma, love, and healing leave imprints in every cell and fiber of your body. Your fascia, your meridians, and energetic pathways also carry stories that your mind may have already forgotten. So healing begins when you learn to listen to the whispers of your body and the energy that they're emitting. So to transform your health, you must address both your mind and body because they're deeply connected in a continuous loop of transformation and information. With that said, it's important to address a common challenge that many people face when reading their AO scan reports: their mindset. It's easy for your brain to interpret flagged markers or recurrent patterns as signs of something being terribly wrong. However, the AO scan reflects the energetic imbalances. It's not black and white. There are no diagnoses. Instead of reacting with fear, I encourage you to use this data as a tool to consider what your body might be trying to tell you. Understanding even just a little bit about your body can also give you a long way in making sense of your reports. For instance, if your liver markers and bile production consistently appear, it's helpful to know that your liver is located in the upper right quadrant of your abdomen, and it works closely with your gallbladder to produce bile. So recognizing that these relationships can help connect the dots between flagged markers and potential symptoms, helping you take this information and create actionable steps towards supporting your body. Maybe it's supporting your liver or even bile function, or just improving your diet. Maybe it's adding bitter foods, warm lemon water to flush your liver in the mornings. Or maybe it's even linked to something that you've been angry about because the liver is the storage of the emotion of anger. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is a liver disease or a liver failure happening. It can also indicate maybe that your detox pathways need a little bit of support and that your body is trying to handle some higher toxic level load. Now, when we're considering food, there are food groups that go beyond traditional macronutrients. So you've got the classifications of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. But there are other additional food categories, such as oxalates, lectins, histamines, and so many others, that are crucial in understanding how foods may be also impacting your health. So let's quickly talk about those. Number one are oxalates. Oxalates are naturally occurring compounds in many plant foods that can bind to calcium. And what happens is they form kidney stones in susceptible individuals. Some of these common foods are going to be spinach, rhubarb, beets, almonds, chocolate, sweet potatoes, and chia seeds. Some potential issues for oxalates can be reducing calcium absorption that contribute to the kidney stone formation. Number two are lectins. Lectins are plant proteins that can interfere with nutrient absorption and digestion. Common foods are beans, lentils, peanuts, whole grains, and nightshades, such as tomatoes, potatoes, and eggplant. Some potential issues with these are that they may contribute to gut permeability, causing what we call leaky gut, and can have some inflammation in sensitive individuals. Number three are histamines. Histamines are compounds that are involved in immune responses, commonly found in aged and fermented foods. So foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, aged cheeses, processed meats, shellfish, tomatoes, spinach, and even alcohol. Some potential issues are that they can trigger headaches, hives, digestive distress, and nasal congestion in histamine-sensitive type of individuals. Number four are FODMAPs. These are short-chain carbohydrates that are poorly absorbed, causing digestive discomfort. Common foods are onions, garlic, apples, wheat, dairy, lactose-containing dairy, beans, and of course, artificial sweeteners. Some of the potential issues are symptoms of IBS causing bloating and gas. Number five are salicylates. These are naturally occurring plant chemicals that act as preservatives or protectants. So common foods are berries, citric fruits, coffee, almonds, honey, and spices like cinnamon and turmeric. Some of the potential issues with these is they cause headaches, sinus congestion, and skin reactions in sensitive individuals. Then there's goitrogens. These are compounds that can disrupt iodine uptake, affecting thyroid function. Common foods are cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and even kale, soy products, and flax seeds. Some potential issues can impair the thyroid function in those with hypothyroidism if consumed excessively. Number seven are glutamates. Glutamates are amino acids that act as neurotransmitters, so some people are very sensitive to them. These are processed foods with MSG, soy sauce, aged cheeses, tomatoes, mushrooms, and fermented foods. These can cause headaches, brain fog, and neurological symptoms within sensitive individuals. Number eight are phytates. These are anti-nutrients found in plant-based foods that bind to minerals like zinc and calcium. Some of the common foods are whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. And potential issues can be reducing mineral absorption, but can be mitigated by soaking, sprouting, or even fermenting these foods. Number nine are nightshades. And this is a plant family that contain alkaloids that may contribute to a lot of inflammation. Tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, peppers, specifically bell and chili peppers, and paprika. And these can worsen joint pain, autoimmune conditions, or even gut irritation in sensitive individuals. Number 10 are sulfur-rich foods. Foods that are high in sulfur-containing compounds are essential for detoxification. Garlic, onions, cruciferous vegetables, eggs, dairy, and meat. These can cause digestive distress in individuals with sulfur sensitivity or detox pathway issues that don't allow you to detox very well. Number 11 is tyramine. This is a compound derived from tyrosine that can affect blood pressure and trigger migraines. Common foods are aged cheeses, cured meats, fermented foods, overripe bananas, and even red wine. Some of the potential issues can cause headaches, potential hypertension, and those with tyramine sensitivity. And number 12 are fructose and sugar alcohols. Sugars and sugar alcohols can ferment in your gut, causing digestive issues. So things like honey, high fructose corn syrup, apples, pears, watermelon, sugar-free gum, mints, cauliflower, and even mushrooms. Some of the potential causes can cause bloating, gas, and diarrhea, specifically in individuals with IBS or a fructose malabsorption. So remember that your body is designed to thrive. When you remove the blocks that interfere with its natural process, healing can become inevitable. Let me show you how I read, log, and use my report for all the information that I currently seek. When I scan, there's a couple of things I like to do before I scan. Number one is I love to have an 8-ounce glass of warm salt water. And the reason for this is because I know that sodium creates electricity, and I want to have the highest amount of frequency and energy going through my body when I scan. Before I do an easy scan, I always do a quick scan, but I do a quick scan related to what I have put into the system as far as supplements go, because I want to know if there's a correlation between my quick scan and supplements and my easy scan when I do my easy scan. Now, before I do an easy scan, I always do a quick scan. The reason why I do a quick scan is because I have mine set up that this quick scan tells me what my supplements are for the day, whether it's a morning, noon, afternoon, or evening scan. And then in my easy scan, I have it to pull up just the homeopathics. So as we start on the inner voice report, the inner voice report is going to be the results or the report, if you will, of the 10-second voice recording that you do prior to the easy scan result coming up. What this is it's taking the tones of your voice and it's correcting whatever frequencies are populating based on emotional imbalances that are going on, whether they're conscious or subconscious. Down below, you're going to see areas that will create different tones for you to listen to. Some of them they might be pleasant for you and some of them might not. You can turn it up, you can turn it down. There's no right or wrong. After that, you're going to want to play it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or you can play it continuously if you feel like your body reacts positively to the sounds that are coming from the report. You can play it right here through the pulse cycle. Down below, it's going to give you light wave optical glasses, the colors of those. Now, these are going to be what the wavelengths of colors that you see to also correct emotion and balance the body energetically through light. On mine right here, you've got red, orange, or I can look at violet. There's a couple ways to do this. If you've got the glasses, use the glasses. If you don't have the glasses, you can close your eyes and think about these colors, or you can find these colors in the environment around you and focus on them. You can do it for a couple of minutes. You can do it while you listen to your music. Again, there's no right or wrong. Here is the quick scan audio that can come up. I can play this again if I choose. And then down here are, again, the supplements. Now for me, I have it to where it picks up only homeopathics. Oftentimes, I have to go through these and find out what they mean. I don't always know what they mean, and that's okay. You can take the time and look them up, or you can simply just imprint them. You can print them into water, you can imprint them straight into your hand, you can imprint them however you wish. Then we get into the vital reports. Now, as we're looking at the colors and the numbers, when you're looking at the lower numbers, 1, 2, and 3, that is when we're looking at diminished function risks of the body. Diminished function risks can also be known as maybe weakness or anything that is just not creating viability in the body. Number 1 is critical. It's the lowest number that you can get. 2 is severe, and 3 is moderate. Then we get over into the optimal and balanced colors and numbers. So 4, 5, and 6. Where there's mildly out of balance, there's normal, and then there's mildly going the opposite direction. Now, the opposite direction is that increased inflammation or inflammatory risk. 7 is moderate, 8 is severe, and 9, just like 1, is critical, but on the opposite end of the spectrum. So 9 can create more of that inflammatory response, where 1 is creating more of that weakened, diminished function response. So as we move down here a little bit more, we're going to be looking at the areas, or these are going to be categories that we're going to start with. So if you remember, I talked about different foods and different categories. We're going to get into those in a second. But the first thing I want to look at are the different categories. We have dairy, fruits, legumes, seafood, nuts, spices, and there's more down below. And when I look at it, it's going to pull up whatever frequency there is a disruption within my body. So when it sends cheddar cheese frequency to my body then responds to that and creates that feedback loop. So it started out with a 9. It ended up as a 9. There was no change there. 9 is an inflammatory response. So when you think about cheese and cheddar cheese and an inflammatory response, well, if it's going to create inflammation, there's no wrong or right way to think of this, but I think of this as I want to avoid cheddar cheese because it's a 9. It's at the highest number of inflammation possible. Then we get down to coconut. It started out with an 8 and went to a 9. Now, why would it go from a lower number, something more imbalanced, to a number that's a little bit even more out of balance? This could be for many reasons. Coconut, as we know, is potassium rich. So perhaps there's a potassium imbalance somewhere. It might have populated, as it scans the body as a whole, there might be areas that popped back into balance, which then threw a food or a fruit kind of out of balance. Legumes are an 8, so again, still in that inflammation category. Then there's perch, so seafood. Perch is a 1 and a 2. It started out as a 2 and it went to a 1. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more specifically here in a minute. But when we get to 1s, do we think about 1s and 2s as that we need the food? Or do we still think of 1s and 2s that we don't need the food? And I think that you have to understand what food it is, and then look at your report as a whole to decide whether you maybe need it or whether you want to still avoid it. Nuts, pecans, spices. So you can see here, spices, there's quite a few spices. There's 5 spices in this category. They're starting at 1s, 1, 9, 9, and a 2, and kind of ended up in the same 1, 1. Mustard is an 8, and then we go to a 9 and a 1. So there wasn't a whole lot of change as far as the before and the after, but there's a lot of spices. So I just want to think about maybe why that would be. I'm not sure right now. Then there's the vegetables, the spinach. So up here again, we have the food category. Now we go down into all the other categories below. Some categories that you're going to see on your report aren't going to show up on my report because I don't have, when we're doing Easy Scan, it's only populating those that are the most out of balance, whether it's 1s and 2s or whether it's 8 and 9s. So when we're looking at blood lipids too, I'm going to just kind of go over this. I don't know why these are populating, so I'm going to come back to that. Blood and others, so circulating immune complex. Okay, at a 2 and a 2. So something might be going on with my immune system. I don't feel sick. So let's see what else happens. Then we've got EPA, so fatty acids. All right, so EPA is showing up as a 9 and a 9, and omega-3s are showing up. So if I correlate back to what are omegas, and I come back up here and I see seafood and I see perch, I know perch is a fish. So at a 1 and a 2, perhaps my body needs a little bit more omegas or fatty acids. Fatty acids are also coming up down here. Now this is not going to be an omega-3, this is an omega-6 with the the fatty acid here. Then we get down to chakras. So we have the previous chakras, and then we have the post chakras. If I had something coming out up in the post chakra that were out of balance, I would pay more attention. But for the fact that my body was able to balance back out based on the feedback loop of the scanner, the pre-scan and the post-scan, I know that my heart chakra and other chakras came back into balance. So I'm going to just kind of go with this. If I wanted to read more on these, the descriptions are right below. Feel free at any point to stop this video and do a little bit of research if you're following along with your own report right now. Then we get down to meridians. Now, the one thing, again, just like the chakras I look at, are there any that were out of balance and stayed out of balance, or that were in balance and came and fell out of balance? So you'll see here my lungs. My lungs are red and a red. But everything else I see, if they were out of balance, it came back in. So I'm not going to worry about those right now. And I don't have any that were out of balance or that were in balance and popped out. So the only thing I'm really looking at is my lungs. Now, if I just think back at what has populated so far, is I did have that immune response, and now I'm saying lungs, but again, I don't feel like I'm getting sick. So if I come down here to the lung meridian, what are these linked to? Respiratory, lungs, bronchial, immune system, allergies, skin conditions. And then we have the emotional links there. So whether it's conceit, whether it's intolerance, communication issues, or even grief. I can take these and I can read them. I can sit down with myself and ask myself questions about, is there something emotional going on, or is there a physical link that might be happening? So because there were not any other ones coming up, I'm going to scroll down to the next section, which is the ghrelin, part of the gastrointestinal functions for me. Insulin, a 1 and a 2. Now, I did do this scan earlier in the morning, so perhaps my blood sugars were a little bit off based on the insulin resistance coming up. The amino acids populating, there's 3 of them. We've got numbers of more of an inflammatory response, and then we've got numbers that are the glycine looks like it's a 1. So perhaps I may need a little bit of glycine. Maybe I want to research that a little bit to find out why these amino acids are coming up. Because there's only 3, I'll just keep moving down. There's maltase. So maltase is breaking down of sugars. So when I go back up here and I see insulin resistance, maybe there's something correlating with blood sugar imbalances. I've got bone mineral density. There's only 1. I've got cranial nerve, the trigeminal nerve. That's right around the vagal nerve area. It's a 1 and a 1. Then I get down to the immune system. So again, I've seen circulating immune. I've seen lungs. I see thymus. I see immunoglobulin IgG. And I see lymph nodes. So perhaps I am catching this information prior to maybe a little bacteria coming in or irritation in my lungs of some sort that are populating. So I can be proactive in my day today. I can be proactive in the next couple of days of how do I support my immune system the very most so that these don't become an issue. Because again, I'm not sick, but perhaps my body is telling me that I need to slow down, I need to rest, or I need to boost my immune system. Then there is the liver and gallbladder function here. So detoxification phase 1. Well, I know liver and gallbladder and detoxification phase 1, I do actually just off the top of my head, and because I did research this. So again, if you have questions, if you type in the Google search, detoxification phase 1, I asked if there's any amino acids that support this, and valine does. So valine is an amino acid that supports detoxification phase 1. So if I add in some amino acids, this could very well help this phase 1, number 9 and number 8 coming up. Then there's skin elasticity. There's some thyroid function. Am I worried about these? No. There's some allergies coming up. Well, I know if my immune system is showing up, my lungs are showing up, there's a possibility that my immune system or lungs are a little compromised. So maybe these frequencies are a little bit more sensitized for me. It doesn't mean that I can't be around a dog. It doesn't mean that, I'm deathly allergic to Arizona cypress tree. It just means that there's frequencies populating. There's some smoke or some smog. Minerals here, cobalt. Now, I know cobalt is typically related to liver detoxification and hydrochloric acid or stomach absorption. There's some tin, and then there are some parasites that come up. Now, we're all subjected to parasites every single day. We breathe them, we eat them, they are around us, we can't escape them. But when this list starts to become much larger, then we really do want to focus on it. But we also want to look at patterns. So after we go through the vital section, then we get down to the comprehensive report. And the truth is, the comprehensive support, I really look at the titles. This is organ detail. I know detoxification came up. Okay, so maybe my liver needs a little bit of support. Again, back to the immune response that's showing up. There's respiratory again. See how I'm linking these back to what I'm seeing on my report. Respiratory showing up. There's the brain. Then there's the basal ganglia. The cardiovascular system, so the heart. The anterior cut of the heart, cardiovascular. The lower body, and this one happens to be the aortic or the arteries, so blood flow. My left leg, and then the chromosome number 8. There's my right eye. Now, I do know that when I get tired and I have lights shining in my eyes, my right eye gets tired. So maybe that could be what was going on there too. Okay, so now that we've gone over the easy scan, now I want to take you to my reporting. Okay, it's extremely important that if you want to see patterns, because we just went over a lot of information, but you have to understand that the easy scan is a snapshot of what was going on energetically in my body at the time that I scanned. So if you want to see patterns and if you want to know what to really dial down into, you've got to start creating a spreadsheet and see what's happening over a period of time. It's kind of like thinking about it in a form of like blood work. You can get a snapshot of your glucose level, but if you do your hemoglobin A1C, you're looking at your glucose levels over a period of time, which is going to tell you whether you are pre-diabetic, diabetic, or your blood sugars are balanced. What we're looking at here is the report that comes with the Easy Scan. So when you email it to yourself, at the top you'll see a link, but if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're gonna have the classic report or the comprehensive report. It doesn't matter which one you click. They're both gonna populate into an Excel spreadsheet just like this. And what I did is you're gonna see all of the ins and outs, so the previous and the current numbers in section or in column D and E. I just deleted those and then started with adding the date that I scanned and at the time. Now up here, you're gonna see some of them I did, some of them I logged, some of them I didn't. These are the homeopathics that came up for that day. So what I was looking for is to look for different, if the same homeopathics were coming up, and if I could relate those back to anything. For me, I didn't notice a pattern, so I didn't worry about it. Then I just kept logging, and then when I wanted to get down to, if this was too hard to start logging, what I did is you can go up to section D and move over to, let's just say N, and you're gonna push Shift if you're on a Mac, and you're gonna highlight everything. And if you right click, you can go down and you can hide these columns. So then what you're dealing with is you're dealing with just a few columns to be able to go down and put numbers in. I can add, let me just show you, I can insert a column to the left And you'll see then I could make a new date, and then I can start putting in other X's here. I could put another X here. This is not going to change because I went through and said how many X's are in each line, and then I was able to, then I color coded them. So you can add more to them. You can take them off. To unhide, you literally just click here, and it brings everything back so you can see everything as a whole. Now, there are other ways to do this. There are individuals that have created other ways of logging or reporting. There's no right or wrong way to do it. This is just how I did it for this presentation. Every single food is in here. Now you'll see off to the left, I've put what category each food falls into. When I get down to processed cheeses, now every day for a couple of weeks, what I've done here is I didn't check off, I didn't put an X. I put an X whether it was a 1 or a 2 or an 8 or a 9. I didn't really care. I just wanted to see where these patterns were. So when I checked off the X's under next to each category, so you'll see here, every single day, so up here I have logged every single day that I did this. And then over here, you're gonna see whether it came up as one time in the total, let's just say 10 days that this was logged for. If it's blank, it was no time at all. And if it was a 2, it's pink. If it's a 3, it's blue. So what we can do is we're gonna go down here and say, okay, so number 1 was processed cheeses. This came up a total of, remember, blue is 3 times. So 3 times in the 10 days. So processed cheeses are probably something that I want to start eliminating. Why are they coming up? As we scroll down, again, you're going to see on the left-hand side the different categories these foods are in. The next food is malt. So I want to make note of malt. Malt came up, it's blue, so 3 times in the total 10 days that these were logged. Scrolling down, turkey. Turkey came up 3 times. Scrolling down further, perch. Now remember that the easy scan that I did today, which is not logged in here, also came up with perch. Perch came up 4 times, plus today, that's 5 times. So remember it was a 1 and a 2. So as I did my own research on perch, I realized that I'm not getting enough fatty acids in my diet. So I am going to increase the fatty acids, whether it's through food or whether it's through supplementation in my diet, and see what the next set of scans start to look like and see if perch continues to come up. Then we get down to, let's see here, the next one. So you can see down here, the next one is asparagus. Asparagus came up 3 times because it's blue. Now, if we come over here, this is FODMAP, this is sulfur and sulfur-rich foods. So I'll keep note of that. Here's chard or oxalates. Chard can create calcification or kidney stones. Coming down, I'm just looking for different colors because I want to really just see these patterns. Neutrophils looked okay. Getting down here to liver. Okay, so I did see, again, today I even saw liver came up. Now blue is going to indicate that it came up 3 times. So I want to see maybe what's going on with liver. Maybe it's some detoxification, maybe it's some other areas. When I get down to gastrointestinal, you'll see my colon peristalsis function and gastric absorption. Well, if my GI tract is off, my liver is going to be off because they work together. So perhaps my detoxification pathways are blocked a little bit. Coming down, leptin. So leptin is a hormone that controls insulin resistance, and it also controls whether you are hungry or full. That came up 4 times. Coming down, just scrolling down. Then there's potassium. Potassium came up 4 times. So because potassium is coming up so many times, and I actually know the potassium through blood work and other forms of data that I'm pretty low on potassium most of the time. So I know it's imperative that I continue to add potassium-rich foods into my day to make sure that this starts to come up, because potassium and sodium helped with that absorption of electrolytes as well, and a lot of other balancing factors. Then there's iron. So iron came up 3 times. Perhaps there's some malabsorption happening with iron too. Vitamin C. So I think of vitamin C as, I think of that as my potentially my immune system and my adrenal function. Anytime I see vitamin C, I do think about adrenal function. Then there is some emotional stability. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. During these couple of weeks of scanning, we're around the time, the 1-year anniversary of a traumatic event that happened in my life. So because of that, I know that I had some underlying emotion. Even though I didn't feel it in my day-to-day, I know that there was some emotional stability happening here, some balancing going on. So this came up 4 times for me. Then down here, parasympathetic nervous system kind of go along with emotional stability. So then my nervous system was a little out of balance. The emotions were a little bit of out of balance. And if you think about those two, the most common thing with that is going to be stress. Now, stress, as we know, impairs gastric absorption. So it could very well be that my body, not my mind, was under a bit more stress than it would normally be under, causing some downstream effects to happen with some absorption. So moving forward, I really need to have some self-care around making sure that I am using Bach flowers in my scanner and using the Cephi to support my vagal nervous system, because those will help, and those will also help the downstream effect of my GI tract. Coming down here further, let's see these. Now we're getting into the physical functionalities. For me, I see so far nothing is populating that would be of something to stop at, except for this toxicity. So this one is actually a bacteria, and I know specifically it is a UTI pattern, so urinary tract. Now, with that, just note, during these 2 weeks, I was in a swimming pool a lot, so this could be why this was populating. Maybe I had some irritation going on there. I didn't physically notice it, but it was populating, and it was 3 out of the 10 days. There's some candida. Now, going back to the malt that was up there. So there's probably some candida overgrowth going on. This is in the fungus and toxicity as a 3. So I want to pay close attention to that. There is aluminum and there's mercury. So some heavy metals, some toxic heavy metals. Now I know kidney functions need to be supported for the aluminum, and mercury is oftentimes, whether it's through amalgams in the mouth or whether it's through fish, seafood, sushi, that is where a lot of mercury comes from. So mercury came up 3 times, aluminum, so there's potentially some heavy metal toxicity happening. Maybe that's part of the liver process that's coming up. Getting into some black mold. I don't know where I would be getting black mold. I've not that I know have been subjected to it, but this could also be related to the frequency base of candida. Same as the penicillium down here. So I might want to do a candida, I might want to look into a candida protocol of some sort to just support my body because of these patterns of excess candida, sugars, gastric absorption, and liver function happening. Yeah, cryptosporidiosis, it's a parasite. Honestly, this one comes from touching door handles or different areas that are necessarily not clean. I was traveling a lot during this time, so maybe that parasites could have populated. Looks though like there's no other parasites that came up, so do I need to do a full parasite cleanse? I think it's good to do once every 6 months maybe, to do a small parasite cleanse, but I don't think that my body is asking necessarily for it at this given time, just based on one thing populating. Down here in viruses, those all look good as well. So again, these patterns are extremely important to start looking at when you're trying to look at the protocols or the direction in which you might need to be supporting your body and health at this given time. Then you can start making playlists based on that. You can make playlists based on your everyday scan and or based on the bigger picture. So I like this looking at the bigger picture. It doesn't mean that you have to do it this way. I just think it's a really great way to look beyond just the day-to-day of scanning. This is the power of what this technology can bring to you and the information and data that really is at your fingertips if you can sort through it.
Awesome. Wow. I hope you absolutely enjoyed that. I know that was a lot of information, but if you need to rewatch this video, this training, it's very apparent. Even me rewatching it right now again for the second or third time, I keep on picking up more and more really cool ways of tracking our bodies through our AO scanner, our easy scan, our inner voice, our vital scan, everything. That's I absolutely love this, especially to track what's happening, not to get overwhelmed, but just I love how she puts it all in the Excel sheet. I remember getting that Excel sheet when I first got my first scan, and I was like, whoa, like how do I really understand this? But this is absolutely amazing. That's why I wanted to bring this to you. Also, I do want to always teach our brand new people, our QLAs, and our current QRLAs to use the tools that our amazing company and leadership of the company that brings this to us. I want to share my screen, and I just want to remind everybody. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah. Share screen here again, and let me just escape out of this. Give me 1 second here.
How many times have you felt like your body's trying to tell you something, but you just can't figure out what it is? You reach for your AO scanner or you call a friend to run a scan, and you anxiously wait for the report.
Sorry, I'm just gonna. Why is this here? There we go. I just wanted to bring your attention over to the Solex YouTube channel here. I know I was just recently on a training call with another QLA today, and I just want to always point to direction, point to the tools. If you have not subscribed, hit subscribed. It's Solex LLC. That is their name of their Solex channel. This is the corporate channel. And if you click over here to the playlists, this is absolutely amazing. Obviously, we have the Solex University courses. We have our back office training in our back office, but there's also ample of information. Take the time to go through some of this information. It's awesome. There's basic training. These are kind of like chapters, playlists. Basic training, new, start here, how to run the scan, Cephi playlist, products by Solex, testimonials and tips, shareables, pets, practitioners, the Solex compensation plan, the software updates information, the phone tech updates, weekly updates. So of course, if you don't get, or if you're not on the live premieres, the weekly Solex live updates on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. or sorry, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. They're always recorded and you can replay them. And then the Solex tutorial series. So there's ample of information here to be able to help you, to assist you on your training, your amazing opportunity to share this AO scan. Of course, all the other amazing tools that this company has, the products and services, the wand, the grounding mat, the tuning forks, the 660 band, the red light band, the illuminator, the new illuminator, the all the different new accessories for the hub. There's so, and then of course all their amazing consumable products that they have been able to create and develop to to amplify the amazing frequencies that we get from our scans, our daily scans, our easy scan, of course, all the other different types of scans, our quick scans, our Cephis, the Cephi scan. There's so much there. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this training. I'm sure you probably have questions. Get back to your upline sponsor who brought you to Solex as a quantum living advocate, if not one of the leaders, the amazing leaders that I mentioned before. We're here to help and assist you. There's no stupid questions. Questions are great because we know that you are learning and taking the time to be committed to your business and committed to your journey as becoming a quantum living advocate here at Solex. Take care. Have a good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are if you're catching this replay. And make sure you share this out to your newest QLA. Talk soon and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.